Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? I read a 2022 NFL mock draft that had Malik Willis going number 2 overall. That was at NFL.com. Mel Kiper's final mock draft last year had Malik Willis going 20th overall. Todd McShay's final mock draft a year ago had Malik Willis going 20th overall to Pittsburgh. Consensus first-round pick, as high as number 2. Malik Willis went 86th overall in round 3. 2013. Remember Geno Smith? Remember that situation? Matt Miller mocked Geno Smith number 2 overall in his final mock draft. Number 2 overall. Todd McShay in his final mock draft had Geno Smith number 6 overall. Mike Mayock had Geno Smith number 6 overall. Geno Smith sat very uncomfortably in the green room at that draft and went undrafted in round 1. Came back the next day wearing just like a sweater and went 39th overall and promptly fired his agent. Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn was mocked as high as number 2 to Detroit. Mel Kiper on the draft night broadcast, when the Detroit Lions were on the clock with the number 2 overall pick, said this is a great spot for Brady Quinn. Detroit picked Calvin Johnson. And Kiper said on the broadcast, I don't know why they wouldn't take Brady Quinn there. Brady Quinn went 22nd overall. That's not to knock the draft analysts. I love mock drafts. I love draft analysts. I love going through it all. And there's strikes and gutters. We all swing and miss, and sometimes we swing and connect. Basically, everyone last year had Chris Olave to the Saints. Strikes and gutters. I give you that preface as a bit of a backdrop before I tell you what I'm about to tell you. Because had I not prefaced it, you would have completely disregarded what I'm about to tell you. So understand, I just gave you a list of quarterbacks who were mocked in the top 5, top 10, who went much later than they were projected. Jordan Schultz on Twitter today reported, Florida standout quarterback Anthony Richardson will undergo medical testing today in Indy. I'm told he's met with the following teams, among others, including several owners as well: the Colts, the Panthers, the Falcons, the Raiders, the Ravens, the Saints, and the Patriots. So before you go roll your eyes and say, Saints aren't drafting Anthony Richardson, he's going number 1 overall, or he's not getting past Carolina at 9, or whatever you said, you might be right. You might be right. This is a quarterback-starved league. Not the right way to say it. This is a quarterback-driven league where being a champion necessitates having an elite-level quarterback. And Anthony Richardson maybe has a great week in Indy, and maybe he blows up the combine, and maybe he goes number 1 overall, or maybe he goes 4, or maybe he goes 9, or whatever. But I just gave you a whole bunch of quarterbacks who you could have said the same thing. Yeah, Brady Quinn's not going to be there. Yeah, Malik Willis isn't going to be there. Nah, Geno Smith's not going to be there. Lamar Jackson, last pick around 1. Not going to be there. And they were all there. That's why you do your due diligence. It's why you dot every I, you cross every T. You are negligent if you are not exploring every possibility. And then, of course, there's also the possibility of trading up for a player if someone does start to fall. It's a reminder of why, if you're the Saints, you do your due diligence and you get to know the player. Because the only certainty in this whole conversation is that if you're the New Orleans Saints and you don't find an elite quarterback, you're not winning at a high level again. That much is a certainty. We can all have the conversation about who that elite quarterback is. Can Derek Carr be that guy? Can Anthony Richardson be that guy? Can Hendon Hooker be that guy? Is it just going to be a bridge until you can find that guy in next year's draft or the following or so on? Don't know. Like that we can debate. What is not debatable is you've got to go find an elite quarterback somewhere to be able to win a championship again in the NFL. We've had a lot of conversations about Derek Carr. Dennis Allen spoke to Taryn Wack of NOLA.com of Derek Carr and said, of course, drafted him in 2014. Said, quote, I think he's highly competitive. He's highly intelligent. He's got great work ethic. He's an outstanding leader. Those are all the qualities I like about him. And those are qualities we like in our quarterback position. We'll certainly let that process take place, but we like the player. So that's one of the first on-the-record comments that Dennis Allen has made about Derek Carr and the Saints' pursuit of him, which I think is notable. But as we've talked about often here, it's very clear the Saints covet Derek Carr. It's not clear that Carr reciprocates to that level. And if he has options, the Saints likely aren't his first. But it begs the question as to whether or not there is a path to win without being elite to win a Super Bowl at quarterback. Here's what I mean. Can you be average, not completely bombing and landing a top 5 pick to get that quarterback, and find your elite quarterback? For example, Kansas City drafted Patrick Mahomes. They were 11-5 the year before they drafted Patrick Mahomes. We forget that. Like, there was a time, a few years prior, in 2012, when they were the worst team in the NFL. And in 2013, they drafted first overall, and they drafted Eric Fisher. Well, of course, then they brought in Andy Reid, and they were 11-5 the year they drafted Patrick Mahomes. They traded up to take him 10th overall, jumping ahead of New Orleans. The Rams traded up to draft Jared Goff. The Eagles, when they moved up and took Carson Wentz 2nd overall in 2017, they were, or 2015, or 2015, they were 7-9. They were 7-9 the year before they drafted Carson Wentz. They didn't bomb out, is my point. They were in a situation kind of like where the Saints are right now. And had the Saints kept their pick, they'd be drafting in a spot this year to potentially take maybe Anthony Richardson or Will Levis or someone along those lines. So I keep looking at it saying, do the Saints have to bottom out? Do they have to have the 3 or 4 win season and draft in the top 5 to get that elite level quarterback? And maybe not. Tampa won a Super Bowl. Now they landed Tom Brady in free agency. Denver won a Super Bowl. They landed Peyton Manning in free agency. And there have been outliers like Seattle, which won a Super Bowl after drafting Russell Wilson in round 3. They never bottomed out. Philadelphia didn't bottom out. They moved up to take Carson Wentz, and that might be the Saints' recourse. You're bad enough to draft in the top 5 and take a great player. Next year might be Caleb Williams, might be Drake May. I don't know who the guy will be next year. Those are 2 guys that are safe bets to be in everybody's top 5. But maybe you have another year where you're 7-10 and you pick somewhere around the top 10 and you have an opportunity to move up to get that quarterback. But really your 2 options are you have to hit on a quarterback somewhere later in the draft, like Seattle did with Russell Wilson, or oddly, Philadelphia with Nick Foles, who went on the run that they did. Or you've got to be willing to move up to get your elite quarterback, like the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes. There's always risk. You could always swing and miss. You could be the Bears, who moved up to take Mitchell Trubisky 3rd overall and whiff. That's always a possibility. But the certainty is you're not going to win without an elite quarterback, and an elite quarterback isn't just going to fall in your lap. You either have to be bad enough to draft at that spot, or you have to be aggressive enough to move up to go get him. And I'm just telling you, I'm not saying for sure Anthony Richardson is that guy. I'm not sure the Saints are going to want him. I'm not sure they'll be in a position to get him. But this is why you do your due diligence, because maybe that guy is the next Geno Smith or Malik Willis or Brady Quinn or Aaron Rodgers, the guy who everyone thinks is going to go in the top 5 or top 10, and has a long wait on draft day. And if that circumstance unfolds, maybe the Saints are in position to make a move and get a guy that could be their answer. That's why I love the draft. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.